Mysteries surrounding Jodie and Graham Foster to be solved on Coronation Street. The woman in the van. No one in Alder Street could quite agree on when Jodie Ramsey arrived. Some swore she appeared on a rainy Tuesday, stepping off the bus with a single overnight bag and eyes that never stopped moving. Others insisted it had been a Friday, because Fridays always brought trouble. What everyone agreed on was this: the moment she showed up, things stopped feeling settled. Jodie came with a smile that worked too quickly and a laugh that arrived half a second too late. She hugged her sister Mara like they'd never been apart, yet held her just loosely enough to escape if needed. She said all the right things. She remembered names. She made tea without being asked. But she watched doors. That was the first thing Leon noticed. Leon Harper had lived across from the Ramsey house for 20 years and believed in patterns the way some people believed in fate. And Jodie had won. Whenever a car slowed outside, her shoulders stiffened. Whenever a van passed, especially the dark ones, her gaze followed it long after it was gone. Mara didn't see it. Or maybe she didn't want to. "You're imagining it," she told Leon when he mentioned it. "She's been through things. Haven't we all?" But Leon had seen the look before. Years ago. In another town. On a woman who didn't last long enough to unpack. The truth was, Jodie wasn't new to Alder Street at all. 2 weeks earlier, miles away, she'd been lying on the cold metal floor of a van, wrists free but spirit trapped, staring at the dented door and wondering whether this was the moment she'd finally miscalculated. The man driving hadn't spoken. Graham Foster never needed to. He was the sort of man who let silence do the work, who understood that fear grew louder when unanswered. His reputation traveled faster than he did, whispered between towns, carried in lowered voices and unfinished sentences. Jodie had known who he was when she got into that van. That was the worst part. Back in Alder Street, Jodie unpacked slowly. Too slowly. Days passed before she took her things out of the bag, as if she might need to leave at any moment. Hidden beneath folded jumpers and old receipts was the locket. It was small, silver, dented. Inside were 2 photographs, one of Mara as a teenager, smiling without suspicion, and another Jodie never looked at for long. She took it out only at night, when the street was quiet, when no engines hummed nearby, when she could breathe. Mara's partner, Callum, noticed before anyone else that something didn't add up. "She asks weird questions," he said one evening. "About routes. About who comes and goes. About whether people lock their sheds." Mara frowned. "She's just being cautious." Cautious doesn't usually look like checking exits. Jodie overheard them. She always did. That night, she dreamed of the van again. The way Graham had finally spoken just once. "You disappear," he'd said calmly, eyes fixed on the road. Or, "People start asking why you know what you know." She hadn't screamed. She hadn't begged. She'd bargained. By the end of the week, Leon was sure of it. He saw Jodie talking to a stranger near the canal, a man who looked out of place, too clean, too watchful. The conversation was brief, tense. When the man left, Jodie's hands were shaking. Leon confronted her the next morning. "You're scared of something," he said gently. "Or someone." Jodie looked at him for a long time. Then she smiled. "No," she said. "I'm scared of what happens if I stop moving." The truth began to unravel not with shouting or violence, but with a mistake. Jodie left the locket on the kitchen table. Mara opened it by accident, intending to move it out of the way. She recognized herself immediately in one photo. She didn't recognize the man in the other. "What's this?" she asked when Jodie came home. The color drained from Jodie's face. "That," she said quietly, "is why I can't stay long." The story spilled out in fragments. A deal gone wrong. Information passed to the wrong person. Graham Foster, a man who collected leverage like trophies. The van hadn't been a kidnapping. It had been a warning. I thought if I came here, Jodie said, voice breaking, if I stayed quiet, maybe it would end. Mara reached for her sister's hand. Outside, a van slowed. Everyone froze. But it didn't stop. It kept going. For now. By the time spring arrived, Alder Street knew the truth. Not all of it, but enough. Jodie wasn't innocent, and she wasn't evil. She was complicated. She was running. She was staying. And somewhere out there, Graham Foster still existed, unfinished business in human form. Jodie stood at the window one evening, locket warm in her palm, watching the street settle into dusk. The mystery of the van was over. What came next?